Yes. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum. What you laughing at? You like the intro?
Yeah, that was wild.
That threw you off, right?
Yeah,
that throws everybody off, bro. Don't worry
off.
about it. I always do, set the tone, come in with a lot of energy and whatnot. My guys, CJ, Serge from Culture Hub, excuse me. First of all, finally, I've been trying to get you fucks on the show for, seems like for ages, but I appreciate you guys coming on, man. Especially during these times, these crazy times. But I'm a big fan of what you guys do. Serge, I know you longer than CJ, but I feel like we've connected recently too. Like it was like we kind of knew each other through like mutual friends.
Yeah.
But like now we've kind of gotten a little closer, I would say.
100% from the hustle.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I think there's like a mutual respect when it comes to that. Got to get a little more comfortable in this chair. So I was just telling you guys before we started recording how this gaming chair, first of all, highly recommended. If you guys, like even in your crib or in the offices, get one, bro. It's a little pricey. It's a lot more than like an office
Definitely
chair.
worth it, yeah.
But it's tremendous, especially for like your lower back. But I didn't have the wheels. I didn't have the wheels for this. So it was just on air. But one of the wheels is broken. So that's why I didn't want to give you this chair, because I'm like, yo, he's just going to be chilling. He's going to make a movement. And that's just going to collapse.
It's a wrap.
And knowing
it's
you're going to start chuckling.
Heavy.
Yeah. Yo, you know what? That could have been the viral moment we was looking for. That, bro. Maybe we should throw an audible.
Yo, how sick would you have been, bro, if you went viral?
I mean, I don't know. To be honest, there's only one way to find out, right?
Listen, man. As long as we have Culture Hub in the and then we got VM on there too, and like, rocket ship. You know what I'm saying,
bro.
Fellas? I got a lot of questions, man. Just like as a fan of what you guys do.
Thank you, man.
I really, really appreciate your stuff. I was telling CJ before you came in, Serge, how I don't really listen to music.
It's wild.
It's I just like podcasts, bro.
That's pretty wild, yo.
I feel that though. Sometimes it's better to kind of take in knowledge in a different way, right? It's like you can get it from music, you can get it from lyrics, you can get it from audiobooks, whatever it may be, but I like podcasts. So I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, I'm more of a Sunday podcast kind of dude, Put on that Oprah podcast, feel good about myself.
That's your go-to, Oprah?
Oh, all the time. She's the GOAT.
Yeah, she's definitely in the GOAT discussion for sure.
Yeah, in the GOAT discussion, she is the GOAT.
She is the GOAT for you?
She is the GOAT. Like,
hey man, listen, it's hard to disagree with that. Like her resume is crazy from how she started to what she like became. Like she became a network, right? Did she got her own channel?
Harpo.
Yeah.
Oprah backwards. So hot.
Yeah.
Bro, she owns everything. Oxygen, Weight Watchers, the list goes on. And she just has wild racks. And she started out making content. Journalist, reporter on television. That's it.
And then she got her own show, the hosting, and then just
blew the fuck up. Boy, I can curse, right?
Yeah, bro, let it rip, man. You know what I mean? Let it fucking shred, dude. Yo, so let's start off with what you guys do with Culture Hub. And the reason why I brought up the thing about the music is because you guys put me on to Little Baby. Like, OD. Because I saw the slides and it was like, is he this generation's like, forgot what the article was exactly, but is he like the voice of this generation, or is he like the biggest star? And I'm like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? First of all, mind you, that's why I really started the whole conversation. Like, yo, I don't really listen to music. So I knew who he was, but I didn't know like that. And then that's when like Big Picture came out, and then I started listening to some of his other stuff, and I'm like, yo, I think he's my favorite new rapper right now. Like of these, like from like 2018 on, I guess you could say. Because again, going back to the whole music thing, like if you came out prior to 2015, that's probably who I listened to. Besides that, like it takes a lot for me to go out my way and listen to someone new.
You got to, man. You got to stay tapped in. It's how you stay tapped in with the youth. At least for me.
Yep.
There's this new guy I was listening to on the way here. I think his name is Boy Leroy or some shit. But
Kid Leroy,
yeah. And I was bumping his tape, and man's is like a Trippie Redd mixed with like a Justin Bieber. It's kind of wild.
What a fucking combination that
Yeah,
is.
yo. And his music's amazing, but he can also spit bars. And it's a white boy, and he's like talking about dropping bodies. It kind of blew my mind a little bit.
He's kind of like Tyler Hero, right? Like Tyler Hero in the NBA is like that white dude that gets picked
that
last.
Wink was crazy.
And then he just like cooks everybody.
What'd he do? Was it like the wink or not? He smirked after that one game.
He did like that mean mug.
Yeah. I remember
like,
when I
yo,
was
what
watching
you
that.
doing, bro?
The smirk.
You're 20 years old and shit. But
Classic.
Like that's, yeah,
man.
And now he was seen recently on vacation, and he had that shirt.
Oh,
he had a shirt of him doing the wink and the mean mug.
Oh, he came up?
Yeah, man.
Came up off the merch?
Yeah.
That's hot.
He had a hell of a season in the bubble. He did his thing.
Mans
Made
was
a name
shooting
for
bricks,
himself.
though, sometimes. It was hard for him to get hot sometimes.
But bro, that's just rookie pains, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel as if we forget just how young these dudes are. I had Conrad on a couple hours ago before you guys came in.
Shout out Conrad.
Yeah, shout out to him,
Major
man.
shout out.
I love the work that he does with you guys. And we were talking about like Tua, right? And like I don't want to get too into detail with like NFL shit, but he's like, "Yo, what do you think about him?" I'm like, "Bro, could we like wait? Dude play 2 games. Like we're already trying to get rid of him. Like I just think it's crazy." Well, you guys, the stuff that you guys do at Culture Hub, and CJ, I'm gonna throw it to you first.
Oh, shit.
And using that as like I guess like a talking point. Do you feel like in culture, in society, we're too quick to both crown someone as the next big thing and also immediately fucking tear them down right away?
Yeah, for sure. Even if you look at the kind of situation with Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? This dude came out and he was a odd phenomenon, 6ix9ine this, 6ix9ine that. It was kind of wild to see how he kind of went viral and then, snitched on his boys and now everyone hates him, immediately, at the snap of a finger. And there's several examples like that, even Trump, as soon as he started running for president, everybody, all the liberals hated him. But before that, liberals loved him.
Right.
Loved him, which is pretty wild, but that's the kind of situation we're dealing with in like the social media era easily. It's easy to say you hate something 1 second and turn around maybe a day or 2 later because most likely you forgot what you even said. So I definitely agree with that. Like we are quick to crown and we are quick to take the crown away, but that's kind of what you go against, in this kind of generation. This generation is crazy, quoting the movie, we're in a social dilemma right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Dude, same way. It's when you're up, you're up. When you're down, you're down. And it's like that's I feel like it's the constant flow, constant energy. Now, for all the love you get, there's gonna be hate. It's people want to pick a side.
yeah,
Especially when someone else in the group picks a side. There's a lot of bias. And with social, when people put their opinions out there and other people go in and see or hear those opinions, that becomes their opinion now, and now that becomes their argument when someone comes with something opposing. I honestly don't think it'll ever change, especially the way that things have kicked up now. Like CJ said, you've got 6ix9ine, got president. Anytime someone comes out and does something drastic, same exact thing. Tons of people are gonna love him. Tons of people are gonna hate him or her.
yeah. We're definitely in the age of cancel culture. That's what it's really called. Everybody's like walking on eggshells all the time. Which kind of also, in a way, like inhibits, at least from what I've seen, creativity at some points. Because you're afraid to put something out.
What about growth also?
Yeah, it can.
You know what one of my least favorite things I see on social is? Is this you? Have you seen that? This you? Like I'm not saying if you said something like outrageous shit back in the day, but like to bring it down on a very less level, like if you have like a bad sports take, right? And then they quote tweet your shit from like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this you? Clown.
Yeah. What was that
Dummy.
What was that dude's name? Brother Nature that happened to?
Oh yeah, the dude with the
Animals.
deer, right?
Yeah.
And
You know, that happened to Brother Nature where he was like saying the N-word and shit like back in the day. You know, even Kevin Hart too. That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he got pulled from the Oscars.
Yeah, yeah,
People take that and they sit on it.
yeah, man.
And they find that tweet, they screenshot it, and they keep it tucked.
Yeah.
Want to hear a funny story? It actually happened to my boy who was running for office in my hometown. I'm not going to say the hometown just to, you know, keep it anonymous here.
Keep it anonymous, baby.
But, you know, he was running for a position in office, and, you know, the opposition found tweets from like 5-6 years ago, and he's like tweeting out like, you know, misogynistic rap lyrics, you know, and the headline was just like, you know, politician promotes rape, like misogyny and like drugs, you know, and this is the kindest man I've ever met in my entire life, you know. Loki might be even gay, like, you know, but he was just tweeting out rap lyrics, and they pulled that from 5-6 years ago and totally ruined his run, you know. So it's definitely a very scary thing.
Well, I also think we don't allow context.
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, one thing I've stopped doing really is texting that much. When, like, I really want to get my point across, and I think it could invoke emotion and, I wouldn't say passion, but just, like, an authentic response. It's like, how many times have you been in a conversation with someone, bro, via text, and, like, that shit goes completely off the rails?
Oh, yeah, easily.
Like, I mean, we could go on for hours. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
It's happened to us.
yeah, calling
Yeah.
someone or talking. I think that's one thing we don't do. You mentioned The Social Dilemma. You watched that, right?
Yeah, it was
Did
wild.
you happen to watch that?
First half.
Yeah.
First half. Okay. The call out culture, cancel culture, what you said about like the tweets, and like there's a sense of community on social media that people don't feel alone, right? You feel like, where in the past it used to be like about fandom, but now it's like, oh, I don't want this person coming to my school. I'm reading this book called The Coddling of the American Mind. You ever heard of it?
That's a hilarious title.
Yo, I read the book, the first half. The first, I'm in the process of reading it a second time, and it's because the first time, bro, I'll be honest with you, I kind of just like half-assed it, and then I was like, yo, I feel like there's a lot here I need to break down. So now I'm reading it again. I'm about 100 pages in. Just the basis of it is, it's in the title, The Coddling of the American Mind, and I can't recommend this book enough, dude. It's about like how our parents and grandparents set up the millennials, Gen Zs, basically be soft. Because it's the coddling, like you know, like Serge is allergic to peanut butter. Well, then no one at the school should have peanut butter. You know, CJ, you don't like at the end of the national anthem "In God We Trust." Well, then that's not the national anthem anymore. You know, it's like it's things like that. Or if a speaker comes in and they're like super controversial, there'll be riots on the campus. Like, yo, fuck that guy. Don't bring him in here. And it goes back to the cancel culture. So, like, when you saw A Social Dilemma, what was your, like, takeaway from it?
Fear.
Yeah.
I was scared. Like, you know, you have all these industry heads talking about what they've created, and they didn't expect that to happen. They were just trying to help, you know? But it kind of took a turn for the worse because, like you said, you know, we look for this kind of opt-out, you know, whether that be through social media or, you know, trying to find an excuse to say something. And, you know, the social media platforms that be kind of provide that, you know, for all these people that are, I don't even know, man. It's scary. It's scary as fuck. Like, to be honest, like, if I couldn't describe my entire takeaway, it's terrifying, you know, because we don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's terrible for mental health. You can't really, it's uncensored, or you don't know what's being censored. It's back and forth. You don't know what's real. Everybody's a journalist. You know, you're doing things based as peer pressure.
Right.
You know, so it's just like, it's really wild. That was kind of my takeaway from it.
How about you, Serge? What did you feel like when you were watching it?
Yeah, so I mean, right, you have people who created these platforms. They said that they didn't know where they would be going, and it's kind of twofold, right? It's like when you create a platform for other people, you're not necessarily setting all of the strict guidelines and rules. You might have a framework that people, do what they have to do within, but, it's for them. You created a platform for people, and you look at people, at human nature, right? Things evolve. You take this company, you raise a whole bunch of capital, right? And then now you have to maintain revenue, right? And how are you going to do that? You have to get more and more users. You have to create more and more things for them to be doing. But for the most part, you want to create the framework, take a little step back and see what they do with it. And so regardless of them saying, we weren't sure that this would ever happen, now we're super against it. First and foremost, they're paid already, So of course
it's easier for you to say that after you just banked 7-8 figures.
It's significantly easier for you to talk about how
I'm talking about like the lower end guys, not the head honchos.
But exactly, you created this thing, you reaped the benefits of it, and now you're seeing the destruction it caused. When on day one, when you were creating a platform, what did you think was going to happen? People were going to come in and be buddy, and talk about the flowers and butterflies and shit. No,
Cats.
Right? It's like a lot of things fuel energy, right? Especially negativity. That fuels a lot of the most energy, right? It's like things that go absolutely viral. You look at the trending topics on Twitter most of the time, right? Brutal.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
rough.
brutal.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, even now, bro, like you see someone you're a fan of, you're like, fuck, what'd he say?
Yeah, bro.
We're in the
Your stomach drops.
Yeah, you're like,
Exactly.
oh fuck, or you think like they like passed away or some shit.
Yeah.
Like I see Ric Flair trending, I'm like, oh my god, what
Yo,
happened?
that happened to me too. When
I'm like, yo, did he say some like wild racist shit? Did he like get sick because he's been in and out the hospital too the last couple of years? And you're like, all right, thank God it's like National Woo Day or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, all right.
That's crazy though.
Yo, think about it, bro. Back in the day when social media first started, like you dreamed of, if you were building a brand, you're like, yo, I hope one day I see Culture Hub trending.
Yeah.
Like I made it. Now it's like, if it's trending at first, you'd be like, fuck, yo, did someone write some wild shit and we're about to get canceled? That's really like what it's really come down to. Yo, I felt a little bit different with Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
My legit takeaway, bro, duh. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I watched that and my mom was like, oh my God, we're on our phones too much. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, first of all, for the thing that I do, the thing that you guys do, we're both kind of in, like, we're on the same road, but in different lanes.
Yeah.
We kind of want people on their phones.
Yeah. Easily. I mean, do you like fuck with being on your phone all day?
I like it, man.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm on my phone a lot. I'm in like 6 to 8 hours, roughly, give or take. Other days is like when it's like football Sunday, I'm like at 10, 11. I'm checking DraftKings. I'm checking my fantasy team. I'm checking Twitter, like who got hurt, this and that, crazy shit. Creeping on like Instagram chicks as well. Gotta throw that in there on Sundays, the Lord's Day.
The Lord's Day.
But yeah, man, like I'm watching that and I think it's a little different for us because like this is our field and this is our bread getter. Like we want to cause traffic and people to your website, my show, my brand. So for me, and I think we have different perspectives because none of that surprised me. Like I know people are on their phones a lot. I know people are drawn to negativity. I was telling CJ this before we started recording. Bro, I remember when I was young, I go upstairs, my mom's watching the news, and like 12 minutes in, she's in tears. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's like, oh, some kid got found in a shoebox. This guy got shot. They robbed the bank. Like, it's just chaos in the first 12. They're not going to tell you about the dude that donated $100K to some foundation.
Absolutely not.
Because that doesn't sell.
You want to know what's crazy? That's why I love the movie Anchorman, yo. You know why? Because it kind of calls that out heavy. Like, first thing we learn, especially like majoring in journalism, first thing they teach us is like, if it bleeds, it leads. Always. So all that negativity, that's what they push on people constantly, because you're going to engage with it. It's proven through statistics every single day. All their ratings that they get in, so they're trying to find the house fire that randomly happened in Long Island while there was maybe 100 other fires throughout New York State, that they couldn't get to because it's just impossible. It's instead of picking that feel-good story, normally they only have one feel-good story, right? Which is weird. It should be all feel-good stories and maybe one terrible, terrible story. People die every day. It's a part of life. It's the cycle, And it's crazy that people are so, attracted to that more than life itself and living. People are more attracted to death than actual life. And it's crazy.
I think people like to be shook.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Citizen app. I remember when it first dropped, I had it on my phone for, I'm not even joking, 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my phone and I'm standing outside and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I need to go back inside. This is wild.
Yo,
right?
This might be a stupid question. Is that is that's not just a New York thing, is it? Citizen app?
It's everywhere. I think.
It's everywhere?
It might be everywhere, but it's definitely going off in New York, right?
Yeah.
Because there's just so much happening.
Yeah.
Right. And it is kind of crazy that these things are happening 2-3 blocks away from you, and you'll just never know, because life goes on.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think like that, but the Citizen app, people, or one big reason why I think it blew up in major cities is because of that. It's, people want to be at the crib and know what's happening all around them.
It's wild.
People are addicted to knowing what's happening. It's
They want to know everything.
For me,
outside of their lives.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it may affect their lives, maybe, but more times than not, that's why they love social. They're trying to see what everyone else is doing. What are people posting?
Yeah.
What's happening here? What's happening there? So.
That the kind of plus side to social media is that people don't realize that you can actually curate your digest.
I'm glad you mentioned that because there's always immediately, like even us, right? Like we kind of are hypocrites about critiquing the news when we fucking just talked about the negatives of social media. So I'm glad that you said the positives.
Yeah. I love to, what I intake in my brain is hella curated. Even if, let's say Serge sends me a Hot Boy link, that's like a crazy, wild video or some shit, I'll be like, yo, that's wild. I could just tell from the headline it's wild, and I'm probably not going to click on it. I'll tell them, yo, I'm not clicking on this. This is wild, yo. Because I don't want my brain to be exposed to that, that out of sight, out of mind thing is so, so important, and especially with all the mental health issues that have rose, throughout 2020, 2019, 2018, the latter half of after 2010, it's very important that we don't get lost in that negativity because it's constantly being fed to us. I was never a fan of WorldStar. I hate WorldStar. I never used the platform. Realistically, the only time I would see it is if my friend was like, yo, peep this dude getting beat the fuck up. I'm not trying to peep that, dog. I'd rather just not.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
How do you feel about, WorldStar and shit like that?
I kind of feel the same way, man. I'm not a fan of watching videos of dudes getting just fucking flatlined on the street. Fighting videos. I started taking Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, but I'm soft, bro. I don't want to fight. I've never gotten into a fight. I do it because I hate lifting weights now. Yeah. I don't like lifting. I just don't want to get fat again because I was pretty heavy at one point. Just keeping it real with you. And I don't like lifting. I have a running joke where I'm like, yo, bro, my 9 to 5 job is I flip eggs and make coffees, and then I do a podcast. I don't need to be benching.
That's lit.
Popping breakfast, bro. You ever in the city, pull up.
Bet.
But it's not. There's no point to me to lift like that. I like discipline. I've always been a really disciplined dude. I like people giving me new knowledge to like better myself. So that's how like I've gotten into martial arts like that. So like going back to that, CJ, I don't really fuck with like dudes getting knocked out or getting
trash.
stomped on. Like that's corny to me.
Why would I want to see that, yo? Why? You know, it's just terrible. Like even like this morning, like I told you, the little kid, the 15-year-old that they found in Louisiana. You know, like obviously I follow a lot of social justice platforms, so I came across it. But it's just like every single day, you know, you see these things, and like even amongst the black community, it's traumatic, yo. Because you're like, yo, that could happen to me. That could happen to my man Serge. You know, way easier than any other race. You know, every single day we go out with the fear of dying, like, you know. So to kind of curate what I digest through content helps me get through the day, you know. Especially, you know, the era that we live in. It's fucking wild right now, yo. You know. But yeah.
Dude, I think that's so right, because like that's something I think about when you see some of these events that go down.
It's fucked up, man.
You know, I think of like my college roommates who like, I don't like using the term woke because I think people like throw that, or like they throw blessed because like they just had a new sandwich. Like, it's like, bro, you're really blessed, man. Like, you know, like I get it, but you know, like I don't know if I'd be as open-minded to things if I didn't live with two black dudes for 2 years in college, and like they told me like, yo, look, you shouldn't say this or say that. You know, I'm not talking about the extreme shit because that was never my thing anyway, but I'm talking about just like in general, like the way you handle yourself around certain situations. And I've shared this story, bro, where like we took this girl's car to go to the mall in Buffalo, and my roommate Jeff, you know, 6'2", black kid, has an afro. He's driving, gets pulled over, and he just looks at me. He's like, yo, I'm happy you're in the car with me.
Oh.
I was like, bro, this was what, 2009? I was like, what are you talking about, bro? Keep driving. Like, whatever. He's like, nah, man, you don't know. It's like, I didn't even get that until like recently. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But it's like, one thing I don't like is, I don't like, and again, to bring it back to social media, I don't like pandering. Mm-hmm. Like, I think people, like what you were saying, Serge, about like social media creates these like, people don't feel isolated because, yo, CJ don't fuck with this person. Well, neither do I. Now me and CJ are boys. And then, all right, here's Serge, here's Conrad, here's Mike or whoever. And then before you know it, you've created like a fucking gang kind of, right?
Click.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, click. That's exactly it. Yeah. So I think with when like everyone was posting like the black square.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't post it.
I didn't post it either. For me, that was more like, the only thing I said was like the story of what I just told you guys.
Yeah.
Like, it was my college roommate and like learning shit like that. And do you think like people do things on social media just because it's in?
Yep.
It's trending?
1,000,000%.
Yeah. 1 million.
No matter what the topic is, just
1,000,000%. No, literally no matter what. It's like, and that's a huge downside of social, like the need to feel, the need for, what's the word I'm looking for?
Included.
Or even more than included, but like they need to feel, I need to feel that you acknowledge me, acknowledgement. You know, people want to be acknowledged because they did something, right? Which is, you know, of course, like if you have a great accomplishment or achievement and you want to share it with people, go for it. But like the black square thing, for instance, right? It's like, I have black friends. I'm going to post this square on social.
It's wild.
Right? And it's like, okay, but was that the extent of what you did? You know, it's like we saw all those images of people who were posing next to the protests as if they were protesting.
Bro, talk about wanting to be down. Like, that was the craziest shit. There was that one girl that got, like, they exposed her. She went with the fake 2x4.
Good.
Right? And it's like, and that's real. That's real, and it's terrible.
Bro, how much time do you have on your hands to go and do that?
A lot.
That's a fact.
Yeah, you feel me?
You have all the time in the world, right? And it's like, I don't know. You know, it's like, I don't go even looking for people like that. I try not to even
Yeah, because
people
then
like
you
that
give in to
near
what they're
me,
really trying to do and to get the attention.
right? And it's
So wild.
right at the end
It's
of the
crazy.
day, I think the most important thing you can give is time.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, resource, donate wherever you can, but time. It's talk with people. Share knowledge. Right? It's like imagine how many people want to one day do exactly what you're doing, but have no idea how to get there.
Yeah.
Right? That 30 minutes you spend teaching them, kind of helping them understand that yellow brick road to getting to where they would like to be, that's priceless, and that can change someone's life. And all you did was give them time, right? It's like, I'd much rather sit with you for an hour and you tell me everything I would need to know to become an amazing content creator, and how to run a successful podcast, as opposed to you just buying me a mic. And so it's like, value in that sense is super important to me, right? And it's like, I would, and just kind of going back to what you were saying, people doing it for the likes, is essentially what they're doing, right? Whereas if you want to make a difference, look for people who you can give time to, and do that often.
I feel like that's what you're at its core. That's what like the mission statement to your site is about.
Yeah.
Am I wrong, or would that be how you would describe Culture? Because like giving people a platform to create and have a place that's a legitimate business that's being run, and you guys have traffic, and I think that's one thing that I really fuck with what you guys are doing, which is dope, because you're kind of giving people. Because, dude, how many times have you guys tried to get, and maybe you haven't, I don't know, I might be talking on my ass, but I mean, from my experience, I've gone into meetings and with companies and networks, and it's like mad underwhelming, and just like they don't give you they kind of just give you a mic. But it's like, well, that's not what it's about, really. Like, can you show me what to do with this mic and do something? Like, we connected because we both know Joe, my buddy Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys used to work together at, what was the name of the place? Elite
Daily,
Daily, right?
yeah.
So I remember Joe in the beginning, man. You want to talk about a hustler. That kid was fucking doing his show, editing this one for like 2 years. And then one day it was kind of like, every year I like to add a new arsenal to like my craft.
Yeah.
And I just remember telling him, like, yeah, I'll never forget this visual, dude. I just go up to him. I'm like, yo, bro, I want to learn how to edit. And he's like, for fuck's sakes, it's about time, bro. I've been waiting for you to like, because I guess it could have been some shit where, like, he saw it in me and I didn't, right? Like, I'm sure you've had those conversations with people.
Yeah.
And then it's also, like, taking that extra step and that initiative to, like, creating on your own. You know what I mean? Because then, fast forward years later, there used to be 5 people on the show, and then it just became me. So, like, what if I didn't know how to do the editing and lining up audio? Like, I was showing him how, like, I could edit something in, like, 15 minutes if I really need to, and, like, lining up audio. And, I was talking to you guys about the clap thing to line up the audio with the cameras. So it's like, yeah, like, he could have just given me the program, but he actually took time and showed me. And I feel like with you guys, with Culture Hub, that's kind of like, at its core, as an outsider, like, I've never written for you guys. I've never done, Conrad put a dope article about me one time. But besides that, like, as an outsider, that's how I would describe your site. Is that accurate? Am I wrong? Like,
well, that's fire.
I appreciate
listen,
that.
man, I know. Look, it don't look like it all the times, but I'm a professional. You know what I'm saying? Put you guys over.
For me, it's about the collaboration. Because, like you said, those big brands that bring in creators and try to put them in a box, really, it kind of harms creativity. And if you're not open to collaboration or collaborating with that creator, how are you going to learn, and vice versa, how are they going to learn? So for me, when it comes to the hub, man, like, that collaboration is hella important. Even when it comes to what we write, yeah, we might design a theme for the week, but those writers, those videographers, they build the content, and we work through it together. And that's what's really amazing to me, through collaboration, we make the most beautiful things, to drive impact.
I couldn't agree with you more about companies and networks trying to sort of silence you or take away what makes you unique. Dude, I remember we did there was this company who wanted to do a live Twitch show, like a sports Twitch show. And they wanted it to be like super, super wild, right? And dude, I remember doing
what?
they wanted you to curse, you know, like they wanted you to like say wild shit, you know, like say fuck, say bitch, say stuff. It's stuff that would get you fired on like an ESPN. Like they wanted to go like that, you know. And I'll never forget the guy was like, I'm gonna give you guys topics off the top and just give me like. Make it compelling, right? Some like old ass white dude had his glasses on, was not paying attention to anything. So we're saying shit, and I'm like, yo, this is some pretty good stuff. He's like, not paying attention at all. Then he goes, I'll never forget this. I'm not gonna mention the company because I might work with them one day, but
Facts.
He was just like, all right, tell me about what's wrong with Tiger Woods. This is like 2018. Like, how did Tiger Woods fall from grace? Bro, I'm like starting to get angry because I know he's not paying attention to me. Dude, on everything. I'm like, man, Tiger was so much better when he was a sex addict. Because remember, like, there was that report where, like, he was, like, a ladies' man and he was, like, swinging fucking cock everywhere and shit. Tiger. So I was like, yo, Tiger needs to go back to being a sex addict. And the guy was just like, and I just told him, like, yo, is that, like, compelling enough for you? And now I got your attention, right?
Yeah.
And then I just remembered that, like, clicking with me about they want something that's different, but that's also like, if you want me in particular, if you want your brand, it's like you can't silence it that much because then I'm just regular, bro. Like I have to stand out one way or another. Yeah. Because like there's a lot of blogs, there's a lot of podcasts. You know how many podcasts are on Apple?
It's OD.
Right now. If you had to guess, like how many would you say?
3 million.
You're not that far off. There's over 1 million registered Apple podcasts right now.
That's wild. Sheesh.
That's like 1 in every 300 people in the country have a podcast. Like you go into a big ass lecture hall and like you went to Syracuse, right?
Yeah.
You go into like some lecture hall in Syracuse and there's 600 people there. It's like, well, 2 people in here are gonna have a podcast, if not more. Like it's trending in that direction.
And that's just Apple.
And that's just Apple, yeah. Like there's podcasts that are just Spotify exclusive, Google. Anchor, Google,
So I know the vibes.
Yeah, it's just
facts. SoundCloud.